Hey, how you doing? Austin Hilton here with an update video on Palantir. Palantir is one of my favorite companies. I own this stock. I'm very bullish on this stock, and it seems to be that now I'm doing these videos about every 2 days because there's information that's always coming out, and I want to keep you guys updated. So again, I mentioned I am bullish. I own this stock. I think this stock is going to be a $40 to $50 stock inside of 12 months, if not higher, and $100 inside of 2 years. Again, do your own due diligence before you decide whether or not this is the right stock for you. I am extremely bullish. What this company is doing and the strides they're making and their technology, how they're landing new contracts with the government, different divisions and arms of the government, the military, as well as there's a commercial division, and overall what they do, they have this analytic platform layer that just helps big companies and governments to solve big data management and analysis problems. This company is fundamentally just positioned to just crush it in the future. So in this video, I'm going to be bringing you some breaking news related to them, talking about Cathie Wood with ARK has added to her position, or their company's added to that. I've mentioned this before, but this one, this is a kind of a different slant on what they're doing, just a little bit different view of that scenario. Also, I'm going to be talking about the two investments that Palantir has made in two brand new industries. These are two industries that they have gone out and made some investments in themselves, because ultimately, I believe what they're doing is they're making investments in these companies, but they're really making investments in the industries. So these are new industries that they are looking to move into, so that their software can be embedded and integrated into these into these other industries. So we're going to talk about that as well. So overall, that's what this video is about. So if you care about Palantir, that's what this video is about. As always, this video is for entertainment purposes only. And please drop a like on this video if you're getting value out of it, and consider subscribing, because I'm here for you, bringing these videos every single day on Palantir and a bunch of other companies, penny stocks, you name it. I bring a lot of videos every single day. Here we go. Let's go look at Palantir. So as I've already mentioned, Palantir is continuing to expand their relationship with the U.S. government, and really they have landed some additional contracts under the Biden administration. I've done probably 3 or 4 videos on Palantir, and I've always mentioned kind of the contracts as they've come, but there's a couple of them that frankly I wasn't even aware of until I found this little piece of information, so I wanted to bring that to you. As well as the Palantir's invested in these two companies, Sarcos and LILIUM, which could be the future of aviation and robotics. So those are the two industries I mentioned that Palantir is basically moving into. So we're going to talk about that. And then ARK Invest and Cathie Wood continue to add aggressively to their position in Palantir. We're going to really briefly talk about that as well. Okay, so this is talking about basically with the new administration at the helm, Palantir continues to advance its partnership with the U.S. government. Okay, this is good news. We know that Palantir got their start via their relationship with the U.S. government, and they're just continuing to move more and more and more into that. Okay, so on March 31st, 21, Palantir inked a deal with the Department of Energy. The initial contract obligation was $7 million, and the total contract was $89.9 million. Okay, so I've mentioned this one, this particular deal before, but I thought that it was interesting that they've got an initial obligation of initial payment of $7 million, and the overall contract is $89 million over 5 years. I've covered this before as well. They've also inked a deal with the NNSA for their SAFER program. So SAFER program will advance NNSA, say that really fast, mission of managing nuclear security. So Palantir is going to be helping in the capacity of managing nuclear security, which frankly helps me sleep a little bit better at night, right? So they're going to be integrating data which will allow NNSA to measure the health of safety programs across the organization and provides insight into the data. NNSA will gain the ability to track, trend, query, analyze, and visualize safety metrics from different sites across the country. Pretty cool. Okay, so that's going to be a cool part of what they're going to be doing there. This is an additional contract outside of the additional the U.S. military and U.S. government. They have inked a deal with the U.S. Immigrations and Customs Enforcement Agency with an action obligation, basically an initial obligation of $1.96 million, bringing the total obligation to $25.53 for that particular deal with the U.S. Immigrations and Customs. The Immigration and Customs Agency has additional options on the contract, which could increase the value to $38.33 million. So in March, Palantir inked a deal with Animal and Plant Health Inspection. I actually didn't know about this particular deal with an initial obligation of $2 million, with initial term with 2 additional extension years for a total contractual value of 6.57. Not a huge one in the grand scheme of things. Okay, they also inked a deal with the Food and Drug Administration. With Palantir worth $625,000. Initial obligations bringing contracts over to $1.25 million. The reason that I think that these last couple are really relevant is that they are outside of really the military complex and the U.S. government, the proper, right? They're with these additional arms of the government, the Immigration and Customs, FDA, Animal and Plant Health Inspection. I like that it continues to get they proliferate and get into these different parts of of different levels of government, if you will, and I like that they're doing that. Remember, I've said this once, but I'm going to say this again. I used to be in software in software sales in the 1990s, back in the day. Yes, I know it's a long time. Yes, I'm 50. That's how old I am. If you're trying to do the math, okay. And the way that this works is that when you get one deal, it's almost like you get a beachhead into a company, and then you just kind of start, or a government institution, doesn't really matter, you get more and more deals as you become more and more integral and part of that given organization's kind of you get built into their DNA, if you will, right? And so you just become more and more part of them. All right. Okay, moving on. Okay. In 2020, Palantir's revenue from the government's contract increased by 77%. We pretty much know these numbers, 346 to 610. While many focus on the diversifications of Palantir's contract mix, the addition of government contracts is incredibly important. What he's really alluding to, and I thought this was relevant, is that Palantir seems to get beat up for not having enough private sector deals. They are absolutely getting private sector deals, but the way that they've been part of the U.S. military and the U.S. government for so long, they just continue to get more and more and more of those deals. Revenue is revenue. Okay, I'm just going to say that. And I want them to get, as it's all, I want them to get more private sector deals, but those are coming as well. Okay, so every contract awarded will increase the possibility of future revenue after the initial term. That's basically what I said a little bit ago. Absolutely. Okay, so because here's the thing: these deals, these 5-year deals and things like that, at the end of the 5-year term, the deal doesn't go away. They find additional things to do in that respective organization. Okay. All right, let's continue here real quickly. Okay, this is now switching over here, talking about ARK Invest and Cathie Wood continue to add shares of Palantir aggressively. Okay, her funds are aggressive and heavily positioned to what she believes the future of select industries will evolve into. I mean, look at the call she made on Tesla. It's crazy. So the fact that she's so heavily invested in ARK, is so heavily invested in Palantir, is really an awesome thing. Okay. Let me turn my ringer off real quickly. Some of the most important, this is a quote from her, some of the most important innovations in our lifetimes have started in the government, especially in the defense sector and intelligence sector. Her point is, Palantir started there, that's where they are, and look at now what they're doing and what their technology is going to become. Palantir's CEO has basically said he thinks that their software will become the proliferate software across multiple, obviously, kind of everything, really. And I tend to agree with that. I mean, them and other companies like them. Okay. So this was really the new piece, kind of a new slant on the Cathie and on ARK's and overall investment. Okay, so let's see. Over the past month, Cathie Wood and ARK Invest increased their position in Palantir to over 14 million shares. Palantir has climbed 9 spots in the overall portfolio mix, so now it's the 25th largest holding with a portfolio weight of 1.35% in ARK. And it used to be it was the 34th, so now it's the 25th. And they did hold 10 million. So they added over right at around a little bit less than 4 million shares to take the overall position to 25th. I love that she is just making more and more and more investment in this. And Cathie Wood has made some bold predictions, and we've all been kind of shocked at them. And her funds aren't conservative or defensive, and she's a very aggressive investor. And I love how she's just all in, so to speak, on the Palantir being a major part of that mix. Okay, so this was let's see. Hopefully, this is another one of our outstanding calls, and long-term holders are generously rewarded with 5 to 10 years. I think it's going to be faster than that. You know that I have a long-term vision of this company as well, and at least a year plus out for what I think the pricing is. Okay, so this is now kind of switching over, talking about Palantir's investments in Sarcos and LILIUM. So again, Sarcos is in the robotics industry. Okay, so Palantir recently made investments in Sarcos and LILIUM. So Sarcos is enabling industrial workforce of the future through robotics. I thought this was relevant right here. It's led by proven retired U.S. military officers and industry veterans with a strategic advisory board made up of 10 retired general admirals and 1 commissioner. I thought that was extremely powerful. Number one, this is a company that is made up of generals and admirals, high-level military complex individuals who obviously have connections into the military complex, right? And Palantir has made an investment in Sarcos because they are now moving into building software to help Sarcos run the company, etc., but will most likely be embedded in the robotics they deploy, things like that. Okay, so this is effectively Palantir moving into the robotics industry. Okay, let me see. Don't believe in coincidences and believe these investments of Palantir are completely strategic, right? Palantir is embedded, I just said this, embedded within the military industrial complex through many contracts. 2020, they increased their partnerships even more so. It would make sense for Palantir to be involved in designing the software that Sarcos Robotics projects run on, so it can be easily integrated into what Palantir has already designed for the military. Who would be better at designing software than the company that is already designing the military software, Palantir, right? So that's a really cool segue into kind of overall how that fits. All right, LILIUM. The second investment Palantir made was in LILIUM. LILIUM is a futuristic jet company looking to change the aviation market. If you want to pause and read all this is about their jets. Their jets are actually really cool. There's a picture of one here below. Basically, here's a picture of the jet. Look at that. That's cool, isn't it? That's a good looking plane right there. It's basically believe that Palantir will play a strategic role in building some aspect of the software LILIUM will use at their control center within jets or both. When you think about how much data is collected and analyzed in cars and planes, it makes sense that Palantir would move into this sector. Small private jets become a popular form of travel in the future. The need for specialized software will be critical, and that's where Palantir steps in. So in basically just finalizing, sorry, allergies, brain embolism there, that was crazy, just completely lost. In conclusion, really just want to basically tell you again, I'm here to bring you the information for Palantir. That's my goal, is to just kind of keep you guys updated. Hopefully you've enjoyed this video. Again, I'm going to keep this conclusion really quick. There's more to come as new things come out around Palantir. I'll be here bringing them for you. And I'm a long-term investor in this company. I believe in this company, and I'm a buy and hold kind of guy, especially for this one. So I'll see you in the next videos. Take care. Bye.